Hello, everybody. My name is Ron MacLean, and I'm here today to present my integrative project on the role of social marketing in the climate crisis. A little bit about me. I'm a Bachelor of Commerce undergraduate in Natural Resources, Energy, and the Environment, and I'm also taking that additional certificate in sustainability. So just going over a brief overview of what I'll cover today. First, I'll kind of take you through the evolution of advertising over time in the private industry and kind of touch on how those basics have been applied to social marketing and kind of the basics of social marketing theory itself. Then jump into the main analysis, which is the role of social marketing as a tool in climate crisis, both mitigation and adaptation. And then to kind of put this all into perspective, I'm going to share from a case study from a student-led social marketing project that I was a part of in the fall semester of 2023 to 2024. So jumping into our first section, um, advertising was actually around, can be traced back to ancient civilizations. This was in the form of wall paintings and town criers, which were people that would be at market and screaming the various deals for the day. And then with the advent of newspapers and magazines, businesses began to have this far greater advertising reach, which was um, spurred even more significantly in the 19th to 20th centuries, which saw a significant growth in advertising, particularly due to the Industrial Revolution and the rise of new technologies like direct mail, radio, and television. During this time, there's also a professionalization of advertising as a profession. So before it was just individual businesses advertising their products, but then there began to be this shift in the 19th to 20th century to have these advertising firms. And during the Industrial Revolution, there was seen by a few economists to be a constant crisis of overproduction where they had too many goods. So these advertising agencies were really called on to increase consumption. And so their campaigns became quite sophisticated and um, they applied a lot of the traditional marketing principles we see today, such as establishing market segments, the three Ps of marketing, which we'll get into. These ad agencies ran full campaigns for business that applied these techniques, but also psychological theories in developing sophisticated messaging that appealed to basic human emotions like love, hate, fear, sex, that were present in these advertising campaigns in order to kind of create a society that valued goods over free time and to solve this crisis of overproduction. Um, this can be seen in a few of these advertisements on the screen. Kind of buying goods as a way to elevate oneself socially, such as in the "Everyone owns a car but us" ad on the screen, and this individual showing off her new fancy fridge to her friends. Themes of youth were present in Pepsi's famous "For Those Who Think Young" campaign, and all these techniques have been heightened even more today with our intense amount of advertising over the internet, social media, and that is kind of exemplified by that photo along the bottom of the screen in in Times Square. So, kind of building on that last point I made, the 20th century strategies and principles that were developed for television and radio have just become that much more effective in today's modern advertising climate. So, there's advanced targeting capabilities with algorithms through social media. And there's constant accessibility again through social media and phones, coupled with reduced barriers like um, credit cards and even card payments are a far more easier way to get consumers to spend money than actually having to count out physical cash. And this has all it led to advanced effectiveness in advertising and company business models. If you think of Amazon, they have like you can think of a product or get advertised a product go over to Amazon, your credit card information is already pre-filled. You can buy a product in less than a minute from seeing that advertisement to completing the purchase and getting your receipt. This has kind of led to a modern consumption culture. We now have a society that really values goods over free time, and this means longer working hours, second jobs, and increased unaffordability with this idea of conspicuous consumption, in which people are buying goods that are not necessarily even making them better off. Um, since the 1950s, this has led to a sharp increase in consumption as well as environmental impact. Increased consumption means increased greenhouse gases. Increased greenhouse gases means increased global warming, climate change, and climate-related severe weather events. So, jumping off the basics of private marketing, social marketing is kind of a tool that works through traditional marketing like strategies and principles to kind of convey a better message. So more specifically, it utilizes industry techniques for the social good. Social marketers use marketing principles and channels to strategically benefit society and individuals in the form of health initiatives, environment, or socially. Um, Social marketing is really this idea that we're changing the ways people are thinking, we are changing social norms. Social marketing is more targeted at a behavior. It can be used to market products, but it's more marketing behaviors, what we want people to do or not to do. Um, an idea that comes to mind when I think of this point is smoking. Cigarettes through the ads I studied throughout the 20th century. It was kind of presented as this status symbol, this symbol of masculinity or sexuality, smoking a cigarette. But now the social norm around cigarettes is more looked down upon. It's like gross, like that's bad for your health. And a large part of that was scientific findings, but another part was the way those products have been marketed or banned from marketing over the years. One key component of social marketing is it's a way of breaking down a complex issue into a non-divisible action. So if you look at, there's kind of that tree diagram along the side of the presentation here. If you think about the leaves would be a broad issue such as climate change. So big, it's almost overwhelming. You work down the branches, you have greenhouse gas emissions, ocean acidification, loss of polar ice caps, kind of all the major causes of climate change. And you work down to the trunk or the roots, and it might be, why do we have greenhouse gas emissions? Maybe we're burning too much fossil fuels. Maybe our houses are too inefficient, a combination of the two. So if you really break it down to a non-divisible issue, to increase the energy efficiency of your house and reduce greenhouse gas emissions, all you have to do is better insulate your attic, better caulk your windows. You choose one of those two, and you tell consumers exactly what to do. Another way to think about this is this health campaign image along the side here, where it says drink 8 to 10 cups of water a day. It does not say to be more healthy, drink more water. It does not say you need to drink more water to be healthy. It says you need to drink 8 to 10 cups of water every day to be nutritious or be healthy. And that is a non-divisible advertisement. It is telling viewers the exact behavior they need to participate in. So a social marketing plan is a 10-step plan, everything from describing our social issue, conducting a situational analysis, selecting a target audience, setting behavior objectives and target goals, identifying barriers, benefits, motivators, competition, and influential others, crafting a desired position, developing a strategic marketing mix, developing an evaluation plan, funding this plan, and completing this plan. So this 10-step plan is developed in similarity to a basic private marketing class that you would take, but it is more geared again at a behavior and solving a social issue. Oh, goodness me, man. My apologies. Um, Social marketing as a tool in climate crisis mitigation and adaptation. So this is kind of our main bulk of the piece now that we understand kind of the basics of social marketing. So social marketing is directly applicable to the three pillars of sustainability: economic, environmental, and social. This being that social marketing influences consumption behavior towards responsible consumption, but also eco-friendly or socially friendly products. It increases the direct demand for sustainable products and drives market growth in this industry, which can lead to job creation in these more sustainable industries. It also can enhance um, brand reputation and loyalty among consumers. In terms of environment, social marketing can be used to educate individuals and communities about environmental conservation and, again, encourages adoption of these eco-friendly products. It can also support upstream targets for environmental policy changes and sustainability initiatives. So, social marketing can be used to target upstream, midstream, and downstream. Downstream being the direct person you want the behavior change to be, midstream being the people associated with the person you want the behavior to change, and then upstream being like government officials and policymakers. In terms of social marketing can be applied to a broad array of issues, and this includes social issues. It can be used to raise awareness about social challenges and encourage action on these issues. It could be poverty, inequality, inclusivity, diversity, and equal opportunities in the workplace. It can also, a big part of social marketing is community-based marketing, which engages individuals in community initiatives and fosters this sense of belonging, which has been proved to increase mental health and strengthen communities as a whole. Jumping into how social marketing is directly applicable to a few of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, as demonstrated by Carla Rodriguez in one of the works I explored. She picked out goals 12 and 13 as the main goals that were impacted by social marketing. Um, so in terms of SDG 12, social marketing can be used to raise awareness about the importance of sustainable consumption and production practices among individuals and communities. It can encourage behaviors such as reducing waste, conserving energy, water, using eco-friendly products, and adopting circular economy principles. Campaigns can set specific behavior targets such as recycling, composting, reducing single plastics, and minimizing carbon footprints, as well as can be used to highlight the strategies and benefits of sustainable lifestyles, such as cost savings, improved health, environmental protection, and this all to motivate behavior change. And by engaging with stakeholders across multiple sectors, which social marketing has the ability to do, it can almost foster a collaboration piece and collective action towards sustainable development. Similarly, under Goal 13, climate action, social marketing campaigns can be used to increase public awareness on climate change issues, causes, impacts, and potential solutions. Messaging can emphasize the urgency of taking action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, adapt to climate change conditions, and build resilient communities. Campaigns can promote more specific actions that households can take in mitigating climate change actions, such as reducing energy consumption, using renewable energy sources, supporting sustainable transportation options, and participating in reforestation or conservation efforts. Social marketing is key in mobilizing public support for climate policies and initiatives at local, national, and global levels, and again, can encourage policymakers to prioritize climate action. Jumping into another work I found very useful in exploring the social marketing topic was a book by Seth Klein, A Good War. In this book, he compares kind of Canada's World War II wartime effort to the climate emergency, the way Canada was able to mobilize so quickly and radically change the economy for a collective effort. And chapter 3 specifically highlights the pivotal role of wartime propaganda during World War II. The public wasn't initially supporting Canada's entrance into the war, and they credit these large scale national propaganda campaigns in getting over 1 million Canadians to voluntarily enlist to give the ultimate sacrifice for their country. Klein's proposal is that there is a Canadian style climate change campaign, but he does warn of the benefits and risks. So this campaign could be used for the government of Canada in effectively disseminating information, mobilizing public backing, and spurring action towards climate change mitigation. But he warns of the risks of propaganda and misinformation that we are facing during this time. A large chunk of the Canadian public might not be as accepting of a national government campaign, as well as we can't look at the war effort as this complete success because there were a large chunk of Canadians that were discriminated against, and some severe restrictions that took away Canadians' rights and freedoms during the wartime mobilization. Uh, Regardless, it is a interesting message that the government could adopt a social marketing campaign to rally public support around climate change, as can be seen in the direct comparison between the two images down below. Building off this, I wanted to cover a few of the risks and shortcomings of social marketing. So the first being a lack of specific strategies. So for social marketing to truly be successful, it needs to adopt climate change specific strategies instead of generic green initiatives. This will both enhance credibility and effectiveness of these campaigns. Another huge risk in social marketing is the effect of greenwashing. For those who don't know, it's when companies mislead consumers with vague claims, green imagery, false eco labels, or superficial sustainability claims for kind of that PR piece. A big example of this would be BP Oil's famous carbon footprint campaign, and the carbon footprint has become a largely accepted idea, but it was originally pushed by these big oil and gas companies as a way of pushing the blame onto consumers of the actions of major fossil fuel companies emitting thousands and thousands of tons of greenhouse gas emissions annually. A few greenwash products on the side there. Sometimes they just like that Coca-Cola Life, for example. It isn't even a recycled can or a green product. It is a health product. Like they use sativa sweeteners instead of sugar, and a lot of people claim this is greenwashing because people see a green can and automatically think that it is a recyclable material. So moving away from these risks and shortcomings and kind of giving some suggestions on how social marketing should be used, there need to be climate change specific campaigns. And this can be seen in the City Edmonton's Change for Climate campaign. It needs to be less about this eco or green and more focus on presenting information on climate change threats, ways to mitigate these threats, and adapt to these threats. We must be very careful in the chosen communication strategies and goal framing in order to not cause information overload. This can be seen with released studies on climate anxiety that people are anxious about climate and climate change. And as I was talking about before with the big leaf overwhelming issue of climate change, sometimes people see that and due to climate anxieties are unwilling to act because it's almost too overwhelming. Whereas social marketing can be really careful about their messaging and break it down to the core idea, staying away from fear-based marketing and focusing on solutions. It's also important to note that social marketing can be used to tailor messages differently to different kind of motivation groups. So if you think of the example of riding a bike, some people might be motivated by health. They want to bike to work to be healthier. Some might be motivated by environment. They want to bike to work to avoid the greenhouse gases that would be emitted from driving their car to work. They could also be motivated by monetary reasons, like an economic argument. So targeting an economic consumer with an environmental argument might not work to motivate them to buy. But if you motivate like a target an economic consumer and say you're going to save this much money by biking to work instead of driving, it may work. So it's really getting to know the target market and figuring out what barriers there are to them and what is going to motivate them. And it should be noted that social marketing as a tool in the climate crisis is not going to work alone. This must be used coupled with a comprehensive approach incorporating legislation and other sustainability tactics to effectively tackle climate change and climate change specific challenges. Okay, just to kind of give insight into how this social marketing works in real life, I'm going to jump into a experience I had in the fall semester of 2023 to 2024, working as a social marketer with groupmates and our community partner, Solar Power Investment Cooperative of Edmonton, or SPICE. So here's an overview of our campaign. The social issue was Edmonton's over-reliance on fossil fuel-generated activity. Our non-divisible action that we were trying to inspire was becoming a member in SPICE as a mode of change for climate change or this over-reliance. We established our target market, which I will get into. We determined the motivators and barriers, and we came up with our promotion, the place it would be promoted, and a price that it comes to consumers at. We also came up with evaluation strategies and budgeted for this campaign before we presented it to SPICE. So through actual market research during this class, we sent a survey out to current SPICE members to kind of project to what kind of consumer we're looking for. We determined that through our research questions that our consumer base would be, or SPICE members were university educated, between 40 and 60 years old, community involved, and 95% of them had joined due to some environmental motivator. So from this, we established a target market that is educated, environmentally conscious, and community involved, and in the show me group. So a few of the early adopters that are really just looking for the place they can make a difference. Few motivators and barriers we determined. Motivators being the chance to have a positive impact, contributing to the climate crisis and energy transition in the city of Edmonton, as well as the opportunity to join community of like-minded individuals and learn about solar power and be able to brag about this investment to their friends, which we discovered is a big piece with environmental sustainability initiatives. We also determined that the sustainable investment opportunities that are a part of being a member at SPICE would be another motivator. Barriers could be uncertainty about renewable energy viability in Edmonton, or solar cooperatives as an untested concept in the city, and a low awareness of SPICE themselves, all of which we're planning to address with our campaign. So from there, we had to establish creative. There are a lot more steps in this process, but it's very interesting to think about what kind of creative would speak to our target. And we had a few different variations of campaigns, such as an antithesis of Danielle Smith's Tell the Feds campaign, which we did not end up using. Our No Roof, No Problem, which we thought was clever, but we did not end up using. Our SPICE certified, which kind of touched on this braggy piece, like you could become a member, become certified, post that on your LinkedIn and brag to your friends about it. But in the end, we determined based on our target that is community minded, environmentally minded, and looking for a lower barrier, community-based solutions to renewable energy would be our campaign. becoming a member for the low cost of $50. So the benefits and the barriers on the ad is very clean. Solar panels speak for themselves. And then we have the Spice logo as well as the EFCL logo, which is our place. And I'll get into that on the next slide. So our promotion, as I discussed above, our place would be Facebook, as it aligns with our target age demographic, and as well as the local news, such as the Edmonton Journal. But we told them to wait off on the Edmonton Journal until they have a product to or a project to call attention to. And then our main platform would be that EFCL, which I discussed above. They're a network of community leagues. Well, they're the head of the network of community leagues throughout the city of Edmonton. And they have a program called Green Leagues, which they host Green League cafes in which community league volunteers who are environmentally minded meet and discuss opportunities for climate change initiatives within their leagues. We determined these Green League cafes would be the perfect place for Spice to present their services and try to get membership uptake in their program. And then again, price is the low cost of $50 to join this program. So I hope that case study was able to shed a little bit of light on how social marketing functions. Social marketing, again, is something that has been built to work through the same systems as traditional private marketing, except for collective social good. It can be used as a tool in climate change as long as the strategies are specific to kind of educating people on climate change, as well as the mitigation and adaptation actions that can be taken. But there are risks of greenwashing if strategies are not specific and mislead consumers with vague claims. Social marketing must be used in addition with legislation and other initiatives, but it is a powerful tool to use when policy and education fail in kind of changing the social norm around environmental behavior. That's all I have for my integrative project. If anyone has any questions, feel free to email me at rgmaclea@ualberta.ca or follow me on LinkedIn and feel free to direct message me there. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.